Hello fellow armchair generals, this is Gamer1745 here with another short segment on mechanics of the game, asked by one of the viewers to talk a bit about division structures basically and how they're different between BlackICE and standard Hearts of Iron 3. Oh, we're stuck over from the last little video. Yeah. So you go over to here, get in your Divisional Planner. It was standard to have, in Hearts of Iron, to have 3 main brigades and 1 support brigade, and if once you research the expanded division, get a 2nd support division. That's not very historically accurate. That's not the way most things work. What BlackICE has done, and it's a very good option, is that they moved what had been 3 brigades normally into a generally 1 large support division. So you would have, for an infantry division, this unit here, still called a brigade for mechanics, but it is 9,000 men strong. So it's in essence 3 brigades, and so this way we can now attach more historically minded support units to it. So we can go down here and oh well, yeah, I'll get into that in a minute. I don't want to confuse this in a moment. So you can go down here, pick artillery, which is a standard support element, add that to the unit, and then you'll want to add anti-tank. Now this is down here at Recon Cavalry, and they also have motorcycle recon. Most countries didn't by this time have reconnaissance cavalry in their infantry divisions. Trust me, I'm far from an expert on various armed forces, around peripherally, but there weren't that many reconnaissance cavalry units. What there were reconnaissance units, and more, particularly in the German army, more and more motorized, but a lot of them were still foot reconnaissance, and they were just recon elements to a division. And so that's what this represents here, and you can look at the different movements bonuses that it gives with or without it here. You can pause the video and take a closer look if you like. So recon cavalry is a very useful thing. Now if you notice, none of these have lit up yet over here. Just it talks about the combined arms for the divisions. In basic Hearts of Iron, the infantry unit and a few other type units were the basis for combined arms unit. It's not in BlackICE. They've radically changed this. I'm sure it'll change a bit by BlackICE 8, but I think it'll be a similar basis. And if it changes much, I'll just make another video, no problem. Then you want to quite possibly add anti-aircraft to a division. Now, if you haven't expanded to the second or the additional slot for a brigade, you should either pick anti-tank or anti-aircraft for the division. If you have researched it and you have the ICs for it, because if you notice it jumps up considerably, an engineer brigade is very good. Most divisions had them, probably almost all divisions had them, but between various countries you can just say, hey, here's a 500 men with shovels, or do you have trained engineers with some engineering equipment, more and more stuff. So what do engineers actually represent can change between country to country, but most all nations had something. Okay, then we have the divisional headquarters. Now you see it change. Once you put a divisional headquarters in here, this identifies and starts your basic across here for your combined arms additive element. So this is just your basic divisional headquarters. BlackICE will, through events, give you veteran divisional HQs with their bonuses and elite division HQs, plus unique divisions, which will fall into one of those two categories, and they'll have their own divisional symbols for, like, you know, a Fallschirmjäger or mountain divisions or some Panzer divisions or whatever, as they've have good judgment and to pick whether they should be elite or veteran to give specialized divisions. So that's your basic infantry division. Like I say, if you have your additional slot, because it's now total 7 if you've done it instead of just the original 4 or 5, so it can go up to 7 brigades. That is what I would put as a classic infantry division together, and that's how I would do that. Now let's clear this out, and I think I could make several videos because I don't want to keep these things too short, but several other templates here. Basically here we can look at an armored division, and they start getting more and more expensive, as you'll see here. Go with your armored brigade, and then your motorized infantry brigade. Now you're looking at almost 1,200 men there, and you can do that way, and that will be an expensive. You're already at 34 ICs to build that. The other option is to come down here and you add a motorized support brigade, which is just 4,000 men. So now you're back at that 9,000 that we were looking at for in the one brigade. So a little more sophisticated of a division. It's only 24 ICs to start building, and then you'll want to add appropriate support units like motorized artillery. You can pick, let's keep this sort of somewhat cheap, so we're going to go with motorcycle reconnaissance elements. We're going to do a motorized anti-aircraft. This motorized anti-aircraft will eventually, if you research enough stuff, particularly for Germany, will represent the Flak 88. So it will have a lot of AP power. I'll just quick get off this just a little bit, go over here, is once you get dual purpose, and to really represent that Flak 88, once you can research the dual purpose guns and get that successfully, that we're doing here for my playthrough. And then that will be an effective anti-tank gun, especially if you're looking against the Russians. If you're not getting that research and done for a different country or whatever, you will want to look at a motorized anti-tank unit. And then again, very good to add engineers if you have the additional slot open here. And then you will need a headquarters unit, which then lights up, and you'll see your armored, your mobile infantry type elements, your fire support, and your support. We don't have a battle group attached here, so this will fill it out. Now there's a strong propensity to fill up all your brigade slots, and that maximizes your division's capabilities, and it does. But sometimes you get event added things like battle commanders or other elite units that you want to stick on, so sometimes you might want to leave off something just to keep a slot free. You can look at the various branches here for what is to build these things. So that sort of sets up with what you need to build for an armored division. And I'll quickly go in, and I'll do some other specialty divisions later in another one. But what we also can do here is sort of the alternate way here for a German division. Motorized infantry as your main source, so that gets that. Then you come down here and you can attach an armored detachment to it, so it's a much smaller, and instead of 24 ICs it's 20 ICs, so it's smaller armor, more infantry, just below the 9,000 figure, so you're about the same there. The other thing is, if you want to do sort of what was a classical Panzergrenadier type division, you can add assault guns instead for approximately the same amount of cost. And you can add this. We're going a little bit because we've gone a little cheaper here, but we can add the armored cars as a better reconnaissance element. Motorized AA engineers. Oh, I forgot to do the artillery. I've yet to fully research in this at this time. Self-propelled artillery, so we're still looking at motorized artillery, and that was classic for most Panzergrenadier divisions at this time as well, through the war. And then your divisional HQ, because you can see here they all light up as a well-balanced, and it's designed. You can look at the stats and sort of, if you will, maximize in one of the areas that some of the written, more detailed things will go into, like for Fortress Buster divisions, some more specialized divisions, or other things that would, max out this a little bit better. But this is sort of how it's designed to be used as a historically based divisional structure. It's quite good. The only thing that could be better is to go to 10, 12 brigades, and you got to go through everybody's orders of battle and reshape all that, and it's a lot of work. And for a little bit of gameplay improvement, maybe even particularly in the immersion area, but I don't know that it's worth it. They've made some very good choices to go this route without expending too much detail. I like the detail. I would go, for what I would want to play, would want to go down that road, but I don't know that most players would want to, because I think it's in over their heads. So in another video, I'll look at some of the other types of divisions, paratroopers, mountain divisions, and how they can be put together. But this is just the few basic divisions here. Standard infantry, Panzer types, and motorized infantry and type divisions. Well, I hope this helps some people make the transition from Hearts of Iron to BlackICE, or even just generally understand Hearts of Iron better. Thank you.